TC, Spiritual Shepherd. Welcome back to the Spiritual Shepherd YouTube channel. Today, we are getting into self-validation, self-autonomy. We're getting into the capital self, okay? Now, first, to preface this, to start this off based on the script, is we have been contracted. We have been programmed to contract to belief systems that might not necessarily be what we agree to now, but how we were grown up, okay? Like 99% of us are living in behavioral patterns, which I'm doing a series on these behavioral patterns where, watch your words because they become your habits. Watch your habits because they become your character. Watch your character because that becomes your destined reality. That becomes your destiny. That becomes, everything that you're destined to do. Okay. And it's all based on our habits. It's based on our behavior. And that is also what we consent to with our words. So what words we're speaking, how we're thinking, how we program ourselves to think, how we program ourselves to be on a specific frequency, to receive specific frequency, to think on a specific frequency. That's really what it is. In the same way emotionally, do we contract to how they want us to respond emotionally, i.e. music, hate music, and spell movies? Are we gonna, and I'm talking negative spells, okay? Positive magic is a good thing. Positive magic is biblical, okay? I want to really bring this and hone this in. Now, we have contracted and consented to specific types of belief systems that we were too young to be aware of to actually consent to it. What does that mean? That means that someone else was our guardian. Someone else was they were our guardian or our elder, and they would sign for us. But how do we know now that when we're here now that we would actually consent to it? So one thing that I'm starting to realize is that until the living being is of an age to where they become they can think for themselves, is to consent and contract to as little contracts or consensual agreements as possible. That is something that that's my own belief system, is that I will not force feed someone to believe a specific type of way, because I should not speak for them. I should watch over them and guard them and protect them and parent them, but we're a pair that rents them ultimately until they become their own owners, I guess you could say, until they become I don't know if it's the grantor or the fiduciary of their, but ultimately you're the beneficiary in the contract when you're born. So someone else is signing for you and you have an agreement, a mental agreement. I don't want to bore you guys. So let's talk about this, guys. Self-validation. The important thing now leading into this is that you have to ask those questions. You have to contemplate the questions. Are the belief systems that I've been handed to in my life something that I truly agree to, or have I been successfully brainwashed? Or have I ever been brainwashed? I've been actually really asking the question, have I ever been brainwashed? Have I ever agreed to anything that has been handed to me or given to me? And the answer is generally no. I've always been very, not skeptical, but contemplative. I've never been really skeptical. I have very strong faith and belief, and I'm sure you do too. And I really see that some of the stuff that is bringing up for me is that you have to validate your self-belief systems. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself when no one else is going to believe, and no one's going to believe in you as much as you're going to believe in you. Nobody's going to love you as much as you're going to love you. Even your person, your partner is still not going to love you as much as you love you. And this is just a fact, and you know it. You as the partner, you with a partner, you having a partner, you having a relationship, this is the main thing, is that this is the spiritual bridegroom of what everything is internal. Okay, you're gonna have an earthly mother, you're gonna have an earthly father, you're gonna have an earthly relationship or an earthly marriage, but you're also having a spiritual marriage, and you have to see who is that spiritual woman, and hopefully and faithfully, the woman on earth that you are marrying, the woman on earth that you are with, is as much of the embodiment as possible compared to any other human that you've ever met, that you'll ever be around, and they are on the same wavelength as that divine feminine frequency, that they are operating, that yes, I am going to be I am going to cultivate chastity and purity. I am going to dress modestly. I am going to be the Proverbs 31 woman. And this is, they have to validate themselves, because in their own lives, they have been told, hey, be some sleuths, you know, all that type of stuff. Be all of that, dress provocatively, act provocatively, listen to provocative music, have multiple partners, all this type of stuff. And I mean, even the funny ones, like don't cook, don't ever cook or clean for a man. Don't ever, do anything for a man. So I'm not saying that this is actually, but so don't tune out, but I'm just saying that in their own way, whatever the masses is telling you, do the opposite. Ultimately, whatever the masses is telling you to do, and that is, i.e., popularity, the popularity contest, what the popularity contest is telling you, what the mass media is telling you, just do the opposite. Like, absolutely just do the opposite. And you have to find what that opposite is and then take it to its extreme. And that's a big main point that you could still see, no matter in a world full of blind people. You could see in a world full of blind people. Now let's talk also about self-autonomy and self-validity. You have to validate your own autonomy. You have to validate that you are only going to know what's best for you, no matter what. This is actually a big one for women. So I hope that without those previous 2 minutes that you are listening to this part, because this is a very important part for women and men, but for women, is that when you ask for validation from someone outside of you, hey, is this good? Hey, like, are you, it's because you need to internally feel safe in your own body. You need to feel safe in your femininity, or that you can express your femininity, that you're in a safe place. But ultimately, you have to validate that you're already in a safe place. That's a big thing too, is that, and validate that you already are protected, that you already are divinely protected, that you are physically protected, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, financially protected on a multitude of levels. And you have to come to the point in your own mind, into your own belief systems, into your own assumptions, your expectations, into your suggestions, declarations, and affirmations. The way that you contemplate all has to have the proper way that you're bringing forth in the way that you are operating ultimately. And you are saying, I can be myself. Like, I don't have to always be like this other type of person or whatever. Like, I don't have to be like the masses. Like, that's the main thing. Is like, if we all want to be different, and we all want to be a different type of person, then why do we dress all the same? Why do we act the same? Why do we use the same words, speak the same languages, drive the same cars, idealize the same cars, idealize the same relationships, watch the same TV shows, listen to the same music? And then any person who is outside of that paradigm is condemned, ultimately. And I find that's very interesting, considering some of the stuff. I know that people don't listen to Kabaka Pyramid or to Protege or to all these other different artists that most people sleep on, or like 1% of the actual like globe is listening to, maybe 3%, but still that's a very low percentage. There's not a lot of people who are listening to that type of that type of content. And if so, maybe just 1 or 2 songs, maybe 5 songs, something like that. Same with movies. They might be entertained with more darker movies, more horrible movies, more terrible movies. They might be in those types of things. And you have to really start to validate your own autonomy. You have to validate your belief system. You have to validate your choices. You have to validate what you've done. And you also have to give yourself forgiveness, and you have to love yourself. And this is a big thing about loving yourself, is because you are born in a world where nobody knows what they're really doing. Like, almost nobody knows what they're doing. Everybody has given a belief system from their parents, from their parents' parents, from their guardians, from their uncles, from somebody older than them. I mean, just take the football teams. Just take the football teams, and you could see that everyone's successfully programmed. It's like, why? Like, and I'm not coming at anybody who watches, but why am I a Dodger fan and why am I a Packer fan? Because I was born into a family that handed me the belief system that the Giants suck, the Packers rock, or the Broncos rock, or the Dodgers rock. But anything outside of that paradigm, they all suck, But that is just a program. That is a belief system. I'm not saying I'm neutral now. I watch games, and I just watch them, and I observe them for what they are, which is a game. It is absolutely a game. It is absolutely for financial gain. It is to distract you. It is a distraction. It is a play. It is a game. It is a distraction. It is a it's a play. Like it's a Shakespearean play. That's absolutely what it is. A stadium, all this type of stuff is really brought into to believe, for you to believe a certain way, for you to separate your neighbor from you, rather than you to see that they are the same person as you. Because if I'm a